prepared for hacks, guys. I know it has been a while, but as most of you know, I'm not Wi-Fi battling as much anymore. I'm actually doing a lot of Wonder Trade stuff. I'm actually Wonder Trading today, the day this video goes up, so make sure if you're into Wonder Trading that you stop by my stream at around 7 or 7:30 EST, because that is around the time I will be starting. If you haven't already and you do want to come, make sure to go follow my Twitch, so that way you get a notification to know exactly when I will be streaming. You can also follow my Twitter, I'm at HaydenMadeEm, and get updates there. But anyways, today I have a battle against Jay, and let's get it started. Let's get it popping. You know what I'm trying to say, because I apparently can't speak right now. But he's going to go ahead and lead off with Jellicent. I actually ended up leading off with my Claydol. Yes, Claydol is back. Hey doll. Some of you may know him, some of you may not, but he is a Pokemon that I used a lot in X and Y, and he's very fun to use. A lot of people don't expect him. A lot of people know that he's going to be rapid spinning and setting up Stealth Rocks, but that is besides the point. He's still a unique Pokemon, and he doesn't get much use in OU, and it's fun to use him in OU, I think. But I went ahead and let off with it. He obviously went for Taunt, so I couldn't get my Stealth Rocks up. And then I decided to switch my Politoed because I had a feeling if he goes for Scald, I'm not going to take much damage. If he goes for Hydro Pump, I'm not going to take much damage. If he decides to go for Toxic or Will-O-Wisp, it's my Politoed, and I don't really care that much. So he's going to go ahead and go for another Scald here. It's going to take me down to about 25%. Luckily, I do not get burned, and I'm able to get a Toxic off. On this next turn, however, I am actually going to be switching out into my Latios. I know, like, at first I was really behind in the narration, and now I'm, like, really far ahead. Gosh, it's been so long since I've narrated, and I feel very out of it, but that's okay. He's going to go for another Scald here. Again, thankfully I don't get burned. Now, the reason I didn't switch directly out into this is because if he goes for Toxic or Will-O-Wisp, that is going to be a problem for my Latios, because it is residual damage that I don't necessarily need to take on my Latios. And seeing as how he didn't do anything like that on my Politoed, I felt like I was pretty safe to come in. And I'm going to go ahead and drop a Draco Meteor. Now, I don't know if he thought that he might be able to live here, and I don't know the actual percentage of, you know, how much damage that Draco Meteor does, but that Jellicent is gone. That thing is out of here. So thankfully, that thing was taken care of pretty quickly. He's going to go ahead and go out into Boombox 3.0, which is his X-Cloud. Of course, I am going to be switching out because I don't know if this thing is Scarfed. I'm at -2, and I know a Draco Meteor is probably not going to kill this thing. He is going to go ahead and go for a Boom Burst here, and that is why I ended up switching on out into my Ferrothorn, because Ferrothorn can eat up a Boom Burst quite well, excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and get some Leftovers recovery. He's going to actually end up switching out here, which was a bit surprising to me. I thought that he might want to stay in, but he's indeed going to be going out into the Conkeldurr, which is not good for me, as I ended up wasting a turn going for Protect. Not necessarily wasted, because I can still Protect this turn, but I went for Protect so that I could get a little bit of health back with my Leftovers. I'm going to be switching out here, and I decided to go out to Claydol, because if he goes for Drain Punch or Mach Punch, I'm not going to take much damage. And if he decides to go for Knockoff, I'm not switching out into my Latios and dying. And it was really make the decision to switch out into Claydol or switch out into Latios. And I'm really happy that I went out into Claydol, because although he went for Knockoff, I was able to live, and I was able to outspeed and get a, you know, layer of Stealth Rocks up, which is definitely going to be helpful throughout this match. So the rain is gone now, a little bit unfortunate for me, but I am going to go ahead and switch out into my Latios here. Latios deals with Conkeldurr fairly easily most of the time. Now, if you're switching into Conkeldurr, it's not going to be the greatest idea. However, if you get a free switch and they decide to stay in while you go for Psyshock and completely obliterate them, that is a whole nother story. Now, he's going to go out into Crobat here. I assume that he really just kind of wants to defog. And if he goes for U-turn, I probably would have died. But if he goes for Defog and I can get a Psyshock off, that is one more Pokemon that I don't have to deal with. And that is what I did indeed end up going for. Stay in, risk the U-turn, go for the Psyshock, get rid of the Crobat. And it ended up working out quite well in this situation. However, you know, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. If I could have gone out in a Scizor, which probably would have been the best option. But then there's, you know, the chance of him double switching out into that thing, and that's not what I want. So I am going to go ahead and go out into my Politoed here. And I think I'm going to be going for, I don't know, obviously absorbing whatever he wants to do. I think Politoed was kind of fodder at this point. I didn't think that he would go for Thunderbolt. Ends up going for Flash Cannon. He actually ends up hard switching out here. So I have a feeling that he's either Scarfed or Specs. I'm not entirely sure which one. It's very hard to decipher that most of the time. But I can pretty much guarantee you that he is choiced in one way or another, because he did switch out after hitting a move that was not very effective. I end up going for the Scald the next turn, end up burning the X-Cloud as it switches in. I think he definitely misclicked there and went for Overheat, unless he predicted my Ferrothorn to come back in, which would have been a nice play, but I have no real reason to switch out at this point. The Boombox is almost dead, and you know, I probably would have died from an overheat. That thing is probably specs, so it wasn't necessarily a bad play. It's just I definitely would have gone. Boom Burst would have been safer in that position. He's going to go ahead and go out into Fluffikins, which is this Altaria over here. And unfortunately for him, my Caesar is still alive, and Caesar deals with Altaria fairly well, even after a Cotton Guard. Not after 2, but after 1 for sure. But I kind of had a feeling that he would either Cotton Guard or Dragon Dance, so I'm going to end up going for Toxic here. Now, if he has Roost or I think Heal Bell, I think Altaria gets Heal Bell. You know, it's still an extra turn that he has to do that if he wants to live. And here we can see that he's actually a double setup Altaria, which is terrifying in retrospect. But in this particular situation, it's not going to end up working out for him that well. Obviously, the Cotton Guard is going to be helping his defense, but not his special defense. So Ice Beam is actually going to be doing a decent amount, probably like 30% here. Of course, the Toxic Damage on top of that. Return is easily going to take out my Politoed here with the Pixelate. On top of Max Happiness and all that, Altaria is a monster, and being a +1. That is not something that my Politoed is going to be living right there. I'm going to go out to my Caesar here. That Altaria is in the perfect range to be taken out by a Bullet Punch here, and that is exactly what is going to happen. Now, these last couple of turns are a little bit unfortunate for my opponent, and you'll see why. So he goes out of Magnezone, which is perfectly fine. I'm going to go for Bullet Punch because I cannot switch out here because of the Magnet Pull. He goes... Oh, I got a crit too. He goes for Hidden Power, and it's the wrong Hidden Power. It's actually Hidden Power Ice. So he misbred, or it's, I don't know, Hidden Power Dragon or something. But he ended up misbreeding the Magnezone there. So that's a bit unfortunate for him. And now a lot of you probably think, why'd you upload this battle? The dude's team wasn't even complete. Because even if this Magnezone did have HP Fire, he takes out my Caesar, and then I go out into another Pokemon that kills this thing. I can't remember exactly. Oh, I have excuse me. I have Mega Pidgeot. That's the thing with Heat Wave, and even if he is Scarfed, I can. Well, if he was HP Fire, I could have lived in HP Fire and then taken it out with a Heat Wave. But since he's HP Ice, I kind of got stuck in this poor little loop here. He ends up forfeiting eventually, so that's good. But I still had. If he did have HP Fire and he was able to take out my Caesar, I still had Pidgeot in the back with Heat Wave, and I would have been able to live in HP Fire, because he was choiced in one way, shape, or form, obviously, or else he wouldn't have been going for HP Fires that entire time. So, it was a GG. Good job, Jay. The only thing I can say is just make sure that your Pokemon are correctly bred when battling me, because it'll, you'll get an extra Pokemon down when, obviously, that was, I believe it was a 4-0. I still had... At that point, I had Caesar, Latios, Ferrothorn, and Pidgeot at that point, where it could have just been Latios, Ferrothorn, and Pidgeot, but nonetheless, it was still a good battle, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to click that like button, guys. It really, really does help me out. If you're interested in the Wonder Trade stream, make sure to come by. I'm at twitch.tv/HaydenMadeEm. Link is in the description below, and I will be streaming at 7 or 7:30 EST, Eastern Standard Time. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this Wi-Fi battle today, and we will see you guys back again soon with another video. May the hacks be with you guys. Peace out.